Welcome back to Coach's Corner. I'm your host, Corey King, and I'm here with RSU men's cross country coach, Matt Kennedy. Matt, how are we doing today?
Doing great.
Well, Matt, it's always a pleasure to get a chance to sit down and talk about men's cross country with you. Obviously, you're blessed to have two head coaches positions, coaching the men's and the women's, but for right now, we're going to focus on the men's. Last year, you were able to set so many different records from the indoor and the outdoor, with Ian Condor setting the 800 meter in the indoor outdoor, and you also being able to set the 4x8 the school record, and also the distance medley race. Talk about what does that mean for you in your program, being able to set all these records in last year.
Well, it just shows the dedication of our athletes and the commitment to excellence they have, and the training over the summer and winter breaks, and being prepared to race at a high level when the season cranks up. So all credit goes to the athletes. They do what we ask of them most of the time. And it shows their performance. I bet we could take a look at that school record board and see that most of our school records have been set in the last few years, and that's a testament to our student athletes, a lot of them still on the team.
Well, also not only just our student athletes, but to you and your coaching staff to be able to push these athletes beyond their breaking point and beyond what they think is possible in setting records and resetting records. For Ian Condors, for instance, being able to set this record multiple different times over his time here on the Hill. But moving into cross country this year, the men got off to a strong start at our own RSU after dark race, taking third place. Talk about what you thought the overall season for the men's cross country team this year.
Well, that home meet that we opened the season with grew substantially over the previous year. So, staying in the top of the results is more difficult every year with the quality of teams that choose to attend. So I thought that was a good opener, but as always with openers, it's just kind of a gauge to see where they're at, a rust buster, so to speak. A season opener, we don't put too much into that. People that are hurt or sick, we don't stress competing at that point. But as the season continued, the men set an 8K school record, and that surpassed the national qualifying team from 2017, led by Baylor Harvey, who's going into the Hall of Fame this year. So they ran really well, and that showed in the regional finish, improving greatly from the year prior.
And that's all you can ask for. And obviously, like you said, when you're racing early in the year, you can't put too much stipulation on that, just because there are so many different factors. Obviously the weather, it's hotter. When it's going to be a lot cooler towards the end of the year when you're racing in the regionals. But it was good to see them perform at a high level at the beginning of the year. Even if it wasn't, what our best, we want to race better at the end of the year than we do at the beginning. And, three of our really strong performers that performed well in those races: Nathan Gibson, Blake Farron, and Kyle Ginn, also, high leaders and do really well within both on and off the racing course or on the track. Talk about what those three individuals mean to your team and moving forward.
Yeah, all three are great leaders. Kyle just recently was at an NCAA convention. Blake has been a strong leader for our group in ventures outside of running. And, Nate Gibson was a freshman in eligibility in the cross-country season, although he's a junior, and that's because of his leadership in the guard. So all three of those guys have bright futures, and we're blessed to have them.
And obviously, we're just so glad to have them. All three of them are impactful in our athletic department, both, doing their participating for your team, but also, giving back to the community. Kyle Ginn is our SAC president for this year and has reached well beyond RSU with his leadership, being on national committees and being the face of the MIAA for SAC as well. It is a true testament to you and your recruiting, bringing in such wonderful human beings to represent your team, but also RSU athletics as a whole. But you also mentioned, with the Central Regional, last year ended up taking 26th place, but this year leaping all the way up to 15th. Talk about what that means for you being able to see such a large growth in the team in just 1 year.
Well, it had a lot to do with just their continued development. Of course, you can't discount the addition of Tyler Colvin, who was a top 2 performer at the conference and regional meet. So his addition helped the team quite a bit. But overall, again, Nate being a freshman, although a junior, the addition of Tyler, it was kind of like we got 2 new guys at the top. And you add 2 guys that are a 1-2, and that helps a lot.
It certainly does. And obviously being able to leap 11 places in 1 year you can't ask for a better story for you. And obviously we want to continue to see us continue to grow and leap into the national tournament, conversation, and being able to continue to grow. But you have probably one of the toughest jobs on RSU campus as a coach, because there is no off season for you. You go straight in from cross country to indoor to outdoor track, and you get a little bit of a break over the summer. But that's recruiting time and trying to figure out how the team's going to grow. Talk about what that is for you to have that stamina to be able to go across all 3 of these portions of the year and be focused in on your team.
Well, it would be hard if we didn't enjoy what we do so much. So that's certainly a big part of it. And then who we get to do it with. The trips that we get to make are incredibly enjoyable just because of our student athletes. And regardless of performance at any given meet, that's a unique thing about track. We could have some athletes that are on an extreme high and others that are extremely disappointed. But making the trip with people that you enjoy being around and are pleasant and make things easy and are organized, that no stamina required, it makes all those trips really easy. And recruiting never stops, so you're just always in a mindset of recruiting.
Always got to find a way to get better. That's the end goal, and that's college athletics in a nutshell. Is always got to find a way to continue to grow. And like you said, the people that you work for make things so much easier to do. But we are so grateful to have you as the men's cross country coach and being able to grow these young men. But for another editions of Coach's Corner, for RSU men's cross country coach Matt Kennedy, I'm Corey King. Thank you for watching.